We're going to start working on session 4, part 2. It begins on page 89 in your book. We're going to start off by going to the library. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a copy of my alien over, and I'm actually going to pull a second copy over. We're going to be using the alien we've already created to create kind of a friend for the alien. So after I have both of my aliens, I'm going to go to modify and break apart. And for some reason it wants me to do it twice, but now I can select all the individual pieces. So the goal is to have a friend that looks similar but not identical. So I'm going to start by changing the colors, and you're actually going to delete the mouth because we're going to be doing something with that. So I'm going to change the colors, and this alien is going to be a girl, so I'm going to make her kind of have lighter colors. For some reason I envision the other alien as being a boy. It could be different for you, just kind of depends. I am also going to give this alien wings or arms. The last time I tried to draw wings, it didn't turn out so good. So let's see, they're going to be grayish kind of. So I'm going to, those are supposed to be wings. They're pretty frightening, but that's kind of what they look like. So I want another set of wings on the other side, so I just hit Command C as in cat, and then Command V as in Victor to paste it, and I'm going to use the free transform tool to basically flip it, and going to bring those wings over there. And I'm pretty satisfied with that. So I'm going to rename this layer Alien plus Friend. And I'm going to add a second layer, and I'm going to call this mouth. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to animate the mouth of the friend, or girlfriend I guess you could call her. So the first thing I'm going to do is by starting to draw the mouth. The textbook says you should use the oval tool. I'm going to use the brush tool because that's what I want to do. And I'm going to make her mouth, I guess, a bright yellow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw kind of a, I don't know, I guess weird alien mouth. And I'm going to go to about frame 25, and I'm going to control click and insert a blank keyframe. Now, our alien has disappeared, and so is our mouth. I'm not so concerned about the alien bodies, I'm only concerned about the mouth at this point. So I'm going to go down to onion skin view right here, and it shows me where my mouth is. So I'm going to basically draw what I want the mouth to change into. So I'm going to use the oval tool for this, and I'm going to make it kind of totally the opposite direction. Alright, so it's going to move from this mouth to this mouth. So in order to create the shape tween, I'm going to need to control click somewhere in between frame 1 and 25, and I'm going to choose create shape tween. Now, I'm basically just going to watch it quickly animate the mouth, which is going to bother you, but we're going to be able to see the changes the mouth is going to do. I want to copy and paste this so that it continues to repeat over and over. So I'm going to select frame 1, hold down the shift key, I'm going to click on frame 25. I now have all these frames selected. I need to control click somewhere in here. It's going to give me the option to copy the frames. I'm going to go to the next free frame, and I'm going to control click and choose paste frames. Then I'm going to select the new frames I just pasted. So I already have one selected. I'm going to hold down the shift key and select the other. Whoops. So I have the first one selected, holding down the shift key. I'm going to select all in between. And I'm going to control click, and I'm going to reverse the frames. Alright, so I want this to repeat one more time. So what I'm going to do is select them all. So I'm going to go to frame 1. I'm going to hold down the shift key. I'm going to click on frame 50. They're all selected. I'm going to control click in between, and I'm going to go to copy frames. The next clear frame on that layer, I'm going to control click and go to paste frames. Now, we pretty much have our face, or excuse me, our mouth animated. As you've noticed, our aliens are not staying on the page. So I need to, on the Alien and Friends layer, I need to extend this. Now, hopefully at this point you realize we can extend it with a blank keyframe. I not only want it to extend for the mouth, but I'm also going to be doing another animation. So I'm going to extend it out to about, I'm going to go to 175. So I'm going to control click on the Alien and Friends layer, and I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. So what's going to happen is I'm going to play this. And I'm going to come out here to frame on the mouth layer to 165, and I'm going to hit control click, and I'm going to insert another blank keyframe because I want the mouth to pretty much be showing the whole time. So let me try that again. Okay, so we're good. So I'm going to do another space tween. So I'm going to insert, or I'm not sure if I said shape or space tween. I meant shape tween. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert another layer, and we're going to name this morphing sun or sun. I don't care really what you name it, but you should for sure be naming these. So I'm just going to name it changing sun. Okay, so I'm going to get our playhead back to the beginning because that's annoying me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and I'm going to have mine go from an oval to a star. So I am going to use the oval tool. Excuse me. I'm going to have my sun right here because I know it's going to fit. So I'm going to color it in with, let's just say red. And I am going to go out to frame 50, and I'm going to basically insert a blank keyframe. So I'm going to control click, insert a blank keyframe, and I'm going to come down here to the onion skin option. Apparently I didn't select it. And I'm going to have it change into a sun. So I'm going to go down to the Polystar tool, and I'm going to change the options to a star. Now you can have as many sides as you want, so I'm going to change it to a 7-sided star. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to draw my star kind of right over the top of it. Not exactly where I wanted it, but I'm going to move it so that it's right there. I'm going to control click in between here, and I'm going to create a shape tween. So we should, if I go to the beginning, we should be able to see it changing from a circle to a 7-point star, which is pretty much what we want. So I want this animation to play throughout the scene, so I'm going to go on and I'm going to copy and paste these. So I'm going to control click, copy frames, next available frame, I'm going to control click, paste frames. I'm going to choose the frames I just put on here. Whoops. Sometimes I hit the control key instead of shift. And I'm actually gonna reverse these as well. So we're pretty much done with that. We have one more item that we're gonna do, and we're going to actually be adding another layer onto the friend. And so I'm going to, like a clothing layer, so I'm gonna add one more new layer, and I'm gonna put clothing. I don't really care what you change it to, as long as you change it. So we're gonna go back to frame 1. And this time we're going to have a shape that we're going to kind of draw on their, I guess you could say, shirt. I'm going to draw a heart, honestly, because I can't think of anything else, and that's what the book tells us to draw. So I'm going to draw it in the middle of the shirt, and I'm freehanding this heart. So remember, it's probably not going to be perfect. Oops. I only wanted to color the heart, so I'm just going to move it over here. Color it real quick, move it back. I'm going to go to frame 50 again. I'm going to control click, and insert a blank keyframe. I'm going to go to the onion skinning option. And I have to decide what the shape is that it's going to turn into. So I think I'm going to draw an upside down heart, only because I can't think of anything else more creative. So I'm going to draw my upside down lopsided heart. I'm just going to move it off to the side to fill it. I'm going to move it back. And I'm going to control click in between these two. And I'm going to click create shape tween. Okay, so it should be going from a heart to an upside down heart. I'm going to copy these frames and paste them as well. And the very last thing that I have to do for this session is I am going to, whoops, I forgot to reverse these frames. So I'm going to reverse these frames. Sorry, my bad. So the very last thing I need to do is draw basically a background. So I'm going to name this background layer. I'm going to add a beautiful background. Yeah, it's going to cover up some of the stuff initially. I don't really care because I'm going to change this in a second. So there's our background. I have a red sun that needs to show up. So I'm actually going to go with a dark gray. And then over the top, I'm going to, what color? What color should I do? I guess I'm going to do like a pukey blue color. I'm going to give it kind of a low background. Not anything super exciting. I'm going to fill this in. Oops. Filled in the whole thing. You'd think by now I'd forget. All right, remember not to do that. Move this back up. And I'm going to drag the background layer all the way to the back. And the very last thing I'm going to do is play my animation, which is at the end, so of course it looks like nothing's going on. Oops, guess what? There's one more thing that I'm supposed to put. I forgot to put words in. So I am going to, I'm actually going to have to look. I can't remember what words I'm putting in. The alien met a new friend. So I am going to add those words in. The alien met a new friend. Of course, that's the wrong color, so I'm just going to choose black. I think it'll show up pretty good on there. And apparently I didn't change it to black, so I'm going to move the letters, make sure. Okay, gray's good. All right, let's give this one more try and let's play it. So we have all of our stuff moving. It's moving extremely slow because of the fact that I'm recording it. But this is the end of session 4.